welcome to another vlog. I'm having a bit of a week. I'm still struggling a little bit. I'm still on the struggle bus. If you don't already know, I've switched antidepressants. I'm switching from Celexa to Wellbutrin. So it's been 2 weeks now without any Celexa, and it's been 4 weeks, since I started tapering and switching to Wellbutrin. I've had a lot of moments, like before PMS hit, I was actually feeling really, really good. Like so happy and hopeful and energetic and like my old self. So that was good. And then PMS hit. Usually PMS for me, it's like 9 to 12 days before my period, and I'm a hot mess. Every month is a little different, but I feel like this month, because I'm doing this whole switcheroo, it's been a little extra. But I'm fighting through, and I'm trying to, I'm doing my workouts, and I'm trying to eat my protein and my fiber, and trying to eat well and support my body. And I'm taking my supplements, and I'm drinking my water, minimal coffee, all of that, journaling, doing all the things. But I'm still feeling very weepy and tender and like fragile. So yesterday during my workout, just stopped and I started sobbing. It actually felt good. It almost just felt like an emotional release. So that was good. And then last night, Mike had to work late. He had a meeting late. When he works late, I get just to watch whatever I want. I don't have to get anyone else's opinion. I actually decided to watch With Love Meghan on Netflix. So it's Meghan Markle, now Meghan Sussex. And it is such a comfort show. It's so beautiful. Yeah. It's just shot really well, and she's such a lovely, warm person. I don't care what anyone says. I love Harry and Meghan. That's where I'm at. And I just was watching it, and I found myself like tears streaming down my face. And I think part of me was yearning to be more like her, where she's just like very calm and gentle and steady. And I realize, she's rich and she has people who do all sorts of things for her, and it's a TV show. But at the same time, her energy is very kind and genuine and sweet and patient. And there was this part of me that I just want to be that person, and I know that I am that person, but anxiety and all of the things are kind of working against it. So I cried a little bit for that, and I cried a little bit because in the first episode she was having a friend over, and she was like putting together all these things for him and just caring for him and taking care of him as a guest and as a friend. And I think I really yearn for that sort of connection and friendship. But I really struggle with friendships. So anyway, I just sat there weeping, but I also got inspired, and I started writing down all the things that I want to grow. I don't think this year we'll do raised garden beds. Like I said, like last time I showed you our backyard and the ideal things that I would love to do. Realistically, I think a greenhouse would be best for us because we have such a short growing season and such a long winter, and like we'll have frost still in June. So eventually maybe we'll do a greenhouse. Because we have deer, I can't really plant anything around the house or in the yard without a large fence or something like cage over it. So what I've done in previous years is I do a lot of container gardening on our deck. So last year I didn't do it because we decided to try and grow a garden at my dad's farm, which was very good in theory because he's got, it's organic. He's got the horses and the tractor, and he prepped the ground for us. It was just perfect. However, because it's over an hour away, we weren't able to get there as often as we needed to. And when I did go there, we had to do other more pressing things like planting potatoes and things like that. So it just got overgrown, and it didn't work for us. And it was really sad because we planted a lot of stuff. And I think the only thing that really came up that we could see were the sunflowers that we planted, which was lovely. And there were some tomatoes like buried in the grass. So I was able to like chop down the weeds around it. And I don't even know if we got like actual tomatoes or if they, anyway, it was a fail. So this year I'm going to go back to my container gardening, maybe get a little more serious about it, maybe build some containers or buy some bigger kind of containers. I grow a lot of herbs, I grow tomatoes, kale does really well. I even grew potatoes in containers, which was quite lovely because they grew to be like, they were like about this big. I have pictures. I should see if I can find a picture, but they grew to be about this big. And then in the fall, so we had these luscious plants on our deck. And then come the fall, they all of course died and we had potatoes. So I didn't have to store the plants. Sometimes you have these beautiful outdoor plants on the deck and then you have to make room for them come the fall in the house. And our house isn't that big and we don't have a huge amount of light. So anyway, growing these potatoes was quite lovely because it almost looked tropical. And then at the end you get potatoes. So that was a really good thing to plant. Lots of herbs and probably some like, I'd like to try nasturtiums, like get some maybe edible flowers like sweet peas and stuff like that. But my brain is working and thinking about spring. And oh my goodness, I almost forgot to tell you, I pulled the trigger and I just purchased a chicken coop. So I decided to go with a prefab one. It's a little bigger than, it's not bigger than we wanted. It's a decent size. It's the size that we need. And we're gonna probably create a larger run that we can set it in so that the chickens can have more room to run around. But this will do for now. I just got it off of Amazon. I looked everywhere. I even wrote to a company that does a lot of collaborations and stuff like that, but they only do it with people in the US. So I ordered the chicken coop. It was a little more than I wanted to spend, but this way, like we can still take it with us and it's very movable, which I like. So in the winter, we can kind of move it a little closer to the house so we don't have to traipse up into the woods, right? So, yeah. We're getting chickens. I'm so excited. So I've been looking on Kijiji and I feel like this year there's gonna be a run on chickens, I think. So I looked at like Frey's, who usually they sell chicks and chickens, like their supplier, breeder, whatever. And they supply a lot of, so what happens is a lot of feed stores will order from them and bring them in locally for people. Our local one doesn't, our local feed store doesn't do it, I don't think. There is one in Bancroft or Birds Creek that does it. But I looked at the Frey's website and it looks like a lot of the chickens that are ready to lay, I explained this last time, we need ready to lay chickens because when you get chicks, they're usually straight run and not sexed or ginger. So you don't know if you're getting roosters or chicks. For a lot of people, that doesn't matter if they're in the country. But we're not allowed to have roosters here, so we can't take that chance and then have to quickly rehome them or, yeah. So I managed to find a guy on Kijiji. He's like almost 2 hours away, maybe a little over an hour and a half away. But he has like a nice smaller flock. Like he breeds them, but it looks like a nice small healthy barn with roosters and chickens and all of the things. So he has some that are about 24 weeks old now. And he has a lot of the breeds that I want. Like I want an Orpington for sure. I want 2 Orpingtons, I think, because they're like the golden retrievers of chickens and they're so sweet. We had them before and I loved them. Sadly, I'm wearing some of their feathers because sadly they were like the first ones to get taken by the foxes in our other house. We had them free ranging for quite a long time. Like it was just, they were very happy free ranging. And then as soon as the fox figured out that they were there, the Orpingtons were the first ones to get taken. It was very sad. So then after that, we built a run and had to keep them contained because the fox wouldn't leave them alone. But we went a good long while without a fox getting them. So anyway, I think I told you the story about this. My Orpington was taken, but there were a whole bunch of feathers in the yard, so I collected them and I gave them to my friend Kira, who makes feather earrings, and I said maybe you can put them to use. And they were kind of, she didn't have Orpingtons, so they were kind of a unique feather for her, so she made me a pair of earrings out of them. And that's the story of my earrings. So yeah, they have Orpingtons, and I think he has some like blue or green layers, and then there's one with like dark, you know, that chocolatey rich brown egg. So I mean, if I'm gonna have chickens, I want to have poetry. I want to have bouquets of eggs. I want them to be pretty and they're gonna be pet. Anyway, I'm really excited. So this morning I woke up refreshed. I'm ready. I'm like, it's snowing. I should show you. We had lost almost all of our snow, and now everything is white again. We've got like another couple inches, but I'm ready for spring. I'm ready. Like this morning I woke up feeling a little more energized and hopeful, and I got this idea that I want to start baking more. So something that happens when I'm trying to lose weight, and I mean, this is all very like my doctor wants me to lose weight, lower my numbers, lower my cholesterol, lower my blood sugar. So it is very important that I lose weight. But when I do that, I completely lose interest in baking and cooking. I become completely uninspired. So I'm trying to think of a way that I can reignite that desire to cook and that interest in cooking and baking. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk down to the bookstore today, because she has it in stock, and she has a sourdough book in stock. So I think I'm gonna try sourdough again and see if that ignites something. I did try it during, you know, COVID times, and it was a fail. I don't know why, because my starter was really good and bubbly and lively and all of that, and I used the discard a lot. Like I used that for, I think I made crackers. I forget what all I made, but the discard was great. My starter was great. But when I tried to make the loaf, it was just a fail. And I don't know what I did wrong, but I know I did something wrong. I think I maybe got a little lazy with it or something. But anyway, I am going to attempt sourdough again. I'm ready. So, and then there's a few, I find nothing gets me out of a cooking rut like a good cookbook. And so what I'm thinking I need though is like maybe a healthy cookbook that's not, you know, so crazy. There is one, I don't think it's in stock at my bookstore, but I think she's got it on order. So I might pick it up. I forget what it's called. I'll put a picture here, but that's one that I'm thinking might be fun to work my way through too. And it's like healthy, balanced meals. So yeah, that's the plan for today. I am going to walk down, and because Silas is home today, he can stay with Clementine. She still doesn't, she's not old enough to stay on her own. And she doesn't want to. So I can actually walk down by myself, have a moment. Maybe I'll pop into the thrift store. I don't know. I might have to pick up a special kind of flour, because I have regular flour, but I don't have, I think you need rye or whole wheat for the starter to start it. So I'll probably pick up some flour for it and come home and probably work on my starter. I think that's it. I think I've talked long enough. Oh my God. I've been talking for like close to 20 minutes here. Okay, so let's go to the bookstore. intention was to get a sourdough cookbook, and my bookstore does have it, and I may still get it, but I think I can start, because he had the book I was gonna get is The Perfect Loaf. I do have one that I used the last time when I really flopped on it. So I think I will look at that, maybe watch some YouTube videos, and I'm also going to print off his starter recipe and method, so that I'm gonna basically do the starter first. We'll start there and maybe try another loaf, try a few recipes here and there. And then if I really like it, or if I'm finding that I think I'll use it, then I might get the cookbook. I think part of me just wanted something new. I needed a dopamine hit, but I resisted, and I realized that I could probably make do with what I have. I don't know if I mentioned this in the first one, I thought it would be fun to start kind of challenging myself to cook my way through a cookbook, but maybe it doesn't have to be one cookbook. Maybe it could be, I could have like a collection of some that I just go through and cook from, or revisit some old favorites too, because that's a lot of fun for me. I love baking, I love cooking. There is one cookbook that I'm like, I really have my eye on, and it's been in my like wish list in my cart, and then I take it out and I put it in, and then I take it out. And it's the Cottagecore Book of Baking. It just looks so cozy. And I did check to see if our library had any of these books, and they don't. And I checked on Kobo, but looking at a Kobo for recipe books isn't ideal. So we're gonna just work with what we have and try to do this as minimally as possible. So I did get a few things at the thrift store. Hold on. So, and I ran into Poppy and Silas's friend's mom, and she's just lovely. So I had a good chat with her there, and it was so nice to get out and walk. And I'm a little sad though, there's this house halfway up the hill, an older gentleman that lived there by himself. I think he was a widower, and he would sit at his little breakfast nook by the window every day, and every time I would go by there, he would be sitting, and then he would always like wave to me and I would wave back. But he moved away. He sold his house, and I don't know where he's gone now. So hopefully he's not ill or anything. But anyway, it was really nice to get out. Sometimes it's just nice to I'm a big introvert, but I love small talk, which is weird for an introvert. So like I really struggle to like get together with people, like a planned get together, but I love a spontaneous get together, because I like always stress and overthink before I go or before they arrive, and over clean and all of that. So sometimes it's nice to just have like a spontaneous little chat with someone, and I'll like small talk with cashiers. Oh my god, I met the cutest little puppy. He was coming out and I held the door for him, and he's like, and he could tell instantly that I wanted to pet his dog. And she was like this cute little 3-pound, she looked like a Pomeranian, but maybe not. And he's like, this is Lollipop, would you like to meet her? I'm like, yes, I would. And he's like, I'll give her to you. I'm like, I wish. But anyway, she was like 5 months old, and oh my gosh, she was so sweet. Lollipop. Mm. Anyway, I feel so much better today. I think part of it is I switched from wallowing to, okay, let's figure this out. Let's come up with a solution. What's the action plan? How are we, like, instead of waiting for the medication to make me feel better, I think I need to take some responsibility and start doing something that'll make me feel better. So anyway, I went to the thrift store, and I went to the bookstore, and I went to the bulk store actually, because I got some rye flour. Anyway, at the thrift store, I just got a couple things. This is an old one. Anyway, it's an old one, but it seems like one that might be good to revisit. I think I have read it before, but I don't know, actually. I feel like I've seen it a lot, but I don't know if I've actually read it. So anyway, I thought that would be a good one to read now. And then I found this. This is so cute. I love it. It's Richard Scarry. This always reminds me of my grandmother. these books. Am I an adult with pretty much not grown children, but like not little children either? Not. I am an adult. I did not need this, but I kind of did need this. I love it so much. Anyway, so I got that and I picked this up. It's kind of 80s. I can put it over. And it's humongous, but I kind of love it. It's got like this. So it's like this very 80s cardigan. What material is it? Do we have a tag? I don't even think we have a tag. No, someone cut the tag out. But anyway, this is the back of it, which I just thought was so neat. And then the front, and it's just like this very drapey, oversized cardigan. And I was kind of thinking poppy, but oh my god, it even has like, what's it called? Killam, I think it's called, in there, which is quite beautiful, like wool. So I don't know if it's cashmere or Angora. It might be Angora. But anyway, so I got did I need another one? Kind of, actually, because for just lounging around the house and being comfortable, I don't have a lot of cardigans like that. So this is kind of a good house cardigan. I went and I got some rye flour for our sourdough starter. That's what it calls for. In my last one, I used whole wheat. So, and my starter seemed fine, but my loaf didn't. So maybe that's the difference. Maybe the rye will make a difference. So I got that. I also picked up this. Every time I go to the bulk store, I pick up one of these because they are just the best little invention ever. Ever. Like, everyone's all about like talking about the scrub daddies and all that stuff. I use this like for washing all of my dishes. It never gets smelly. Like, I do wash it, but it never like gets that nasty smell, and it lasts for like months, really. I do find it gets a little softer after a couple washes. So like in the washing machine and dryer, like it does soften a little bit, but these are my favorite thing ever for washing dishes. So I grabbed one of those, and then I saw this little handy thing while I was out. So if you guys don't know, in Canada, we are feeling very patriotic right now, and we are trying to just buy Canadian products because. So this is like a little guide. So it's like categories, US brands to avoid. I'm sorry if you're American, but we're having a moment. And then these are the Canadian brands that you should look for or buy. So anyway, I thought that was kind of handy just to have, so that you have it on the top of your mind. But yeah, it's just like a real estate agent put this, which is smart. Smart. Yeah, so that's it. It was a lovely little outing. I feel a lot better. So Poppy has a friend coming over tonight for supper after drama. So I think I'm going to make a big pot of chili, and I might show you how I do that. A lot of people like my chili, and it's like the simplest thing ever. So I might show you that, and I'm either going to make pastries to go with it, which is like my mother-in-law's recipe. They're like a sweet quick bread kind of thing that I make in muffin tins. So I might make those because they're simple. Or I might make my delicious dinner rolls. I'm not sure. We'll see how much energy I have, because I'm gonna have to clean the house a little bit, and I'm gonna just start my sourdough starter, make the chili, do the dishes, all the things. So I might not have enough energy to make the bread. We'll see. But if I do make it, I will share it. I'm in a very chatty mood. I'm bubbly, feeling good, yappy. I think we're on the upswing again. So yeah, let's go make our sourdough starter. Okay. All right. So I have printed off the sourdough starter method from The Perfect Loaf. I guess he has a website, so I imagine actually a lot of this stuff is online. And I also printed out a couple recipes from the other cookbook that I mentioned. So I have Thai-inspired crispy rice salad with cucumber and like a peanut lime dressing, and then 30-minute sheet pan shrimp fajitas. And it's actually funny because I was watching another YouTuber, and she was making this smash burger tacos, and I decided to try it, and it was delicious. And it actually turns out that it's the same girl, I just didn't recognize the name. So that was another hit. So we made burgers on wraps and like a homemade Big Mac sauce, which was really good. So I'm feeling excited about that. Definitely a cookbook is easier, but printing them out is also a really good option. I think I will invest in the cookbook if I like some more of the recipe. But anyway, let's make our starter. So I have a scale, I have my rye flour, I have a weck jar. I've had this for a little while with a lid. Now, the only issue that I have is that I have to keep this warm, and it's not super, super warm in the house right now because winter. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. It says to put it in you could put it in your oven with like just the light on, but mine doesn't have a light because someone just like jammed the whole thing where you put a light bulb is like all completely jammed up and crushed. I don't know what it is, but every house that we have lived in has come with a stove with no light in it. Every single house. And a broken dishwasher. I actually have 2 weck jars because I feel like you're supposed to, to clean jar. So I think every like alternate days, I think it's smart to have 2 jars. So I'm not sure where I'm going to keep it warm for right now. I have to think about that. But I was thinking what might be cute is if I keep doing this, is getting like a candle warmer. Because most of them, this is 6 inches. And I think most of the candle warmers go from like 4 to 6 inches. 4 to 7 inches, I think. So that might be perfect if it's like dimmable. Like it might just be enough heat for it. And it might look really cute on the counter actually as like a little nightlight, whatever. Anyway, that's my thought. So I just need 100 grams of rye flour and 125 grams of warm water. I know that in like the UK you weigh your ingredients, which seems like very smart and accurate and everything, but it's like such a bizarre concept for me that I'm like, how do you do that? But it's quite simple. You just add the ingredients and then you zero it out. And I also found sourdough recipe book that I had from COVID times. So we will see. There's a lot of recipes actually in here, but I really gave up on it. And the reason I gave up on it is because I actually can make like a really nice loaf of bread. Like I make good bread, so I wasn't really concerned about it, but I think just the health benefits of sourdough is just better for you. But so, and it's a challenge. I need to challenge myself and see if I can do it. So this is the book that I'm going to try to reference, but I'm going to use the Perfect Loaf starter recipe because I did look at the Perfect Loaf book and it looks really intense. Let me just move the camera. And I also have this little thing. I got like all the gadgets. I forget what this is called, but it's for stirring. It's supposed to like be for stirring it. So, okay, we have it zeroed out. We need, what do we need? We need 100 grams. There's 30, 70. See, it's just zeroed out again. Oh my god. I think it's just my scale is stupid, I guess, maybe? I don't know. So I need some more water now. It's just like that. I'm like 3 grams over. Okay, I'm sure it's fine. Then that's it. I just keep it somewhere warm now. Somewhere warm for 24 hours. I don't know where that'll be, but...
To have for me, or it changes my mind, or it makes me think about the quite bread or wine out. Right, so think about it. So it's really, really helpful. Two things he's just did that I think you're going to do. One is keep the tiles consistent. I think I mentioned this last time. They are...
Okay, so the house is clean. I'm gonna start making the chili, and I think I'm gonna make the quicker, easier pastries to go along with it. So I just have to cook the meat, and then it's 2 cans of diced tomatoes. Usually I use diced tomatoes, but I thought maybe I have these. I got these for a tomato soup recipe that we were trying out like a couple weekends ago, and it was delicious. But Mike's not a big tomato soup guy, so they say finely chopped, but they're basically crushed. So I thought maybe I'd throw those in, and so it's a little less chunky. Just see how it turns out. 2 cans of kidney beans. I have some frozen like ground turkey that I'm going to cook up and put in it. But I also got some of this. It's just the vegan veggie ground. And sometimes to make meat go a little bit further and have like more protein and extra fiber, sometimes I'll add extra beans or lentils or finely chopped mushrooms. Or I thought I'd try this to add a little more protein without the extra meat and fat and all that stuff. So we are not vegan, we are not vegetarian, but I do like adding in plant-based proteins. I have an onion, some garlic, some mushrooms. I usually slice these up. I might dice them up because sometimes when I slice them, the kids pick them out and leave them behind. But if I dice them up really finely, they can't pick them out because they don't know they're there. I usually put peppers. Like I'll probably put 2 peppers in the chili, but Poppy's friend, peppers was the only thing that he said he didn't like. So I'm not gonna add peppers today. But usually I would add a couple peppers. And then I have chili powder. And I usually just use taco seasoning, but they were all out, so I got chili seasoning. And then I have a little extra because it's a big batch. And I like to add extra cumin, celery salt. I add celery salt. It's like my secret ingredient to like spaghetti sauces, pasta salad. This is the secret ingredient, guys. Celery seed and celery salt. Delicious. So I add it to a lot of things. And then pepper and always garlic powder. Always, always. So that's basically it. I'm just going to cook my meat first, and then I'll throw it all in a pot and let it simmer. And it's always better the next day, but I'm trying to make it a little bit earlier so that it can simmer just a little while. And then I will make the pastries, which are also pretty basic. I don't really measure it. It's a really rough measurement. It's like 3 cups of flour. They're not healthy. They're not, like, they have a good amount of like butter in them, butter, milk, and there's quite a bit of sugar in them actually. But just the sweet with the salty, spicy, it's really good with like beef stew too. So we're gonna make, and they make quite a few. Like I can make about 24 with a batch. So because we're having company and then the kids, and then we'll eat it tomorrow. Chili is just like such a good, it's so healthy for you. So it's like the best of both worlds. I love it. So let's go make some chili. So I just like to crumble it up and add it in. And obviously, if you're vegan or vegetarian, just do all of that. I find the diced mushrooms done in this little thing. This thing is so handy. It's like one of those pull things. 5 pulls and you have like all the diced mushrooms that you could want. I find that adds like a nice meaty sort of filling texture, and lentils are always good too. I feel like everybody makes chili a little bit differently, and I actually, when we were watching Yellowstone, I found out that technically chili isn't supposed to have beans. If it has beans in it, it's not chili, which is crazy to me because I feel like that's what makes it chili. Okay, so I have my cooked meat and my ground round in there, and I'm just gonna add in the veggies. Just dump her in. Sometimes I let them like cook down a little bit, sometimes I don't. Okay, so I have let this cook a little bit, not much. Maybe I can turn it to see. You can still see the mushrooms are they're starting to soften a little bit. I literally dump everything in, and then I'll put a little bit of water in here and mix the seasoning. Toss that in. So you can see that's almost like passata. And then I add my kidney beans. I don't even rinse them because I feel like the juice inside of the can makes it like nice and thick. And I asked Alexa and she said you can eat it. I started to second guess myself. Measure with your heart. I usually don't add salt until the end, but this has celery salt. Pepper. Some chili powder. And we just let her simmer now. This is it. So I'm just gonna let that simmer away. I'm gonna tidy up and then I'm gonna start on making the pastries. I honestly would love to make more aesthetic, calm cooking videos, but sometimes it's just easier to just share. This feels a little more authentic, a little more real. So this is what we're showing up with. Because honestly, if I waited until I had the patience and the bandwidth and the tidy kitchen and all of the things, then I feel like I would never get around to it. And that can be a big barrier in my vlogging. I find when I want everything to be perfect, I tend not to vlog, and I resist picking up the camera because if it's not going to be perfect, then what's the point? But I am pushing myself to just show up when I feel, because I feel yappy today. Here I am in my very tiny, messy green kitchen. This is like one of my prized possessions. I thrifted this. This was like probably one of the first things I thrifted as an adult with my own home. And I love it so much. And now, of course, they're so expensive and hard to find and get your hands on. And I've never seen another one like this. So this is my prized possession. So this is my pastry bowl. So it's 3 overflowing cups of flour, and then 1 very generous cup of sugar. Just trust the process. And then I use margarine. For all of my people that are not in Canada and cannot wrap their minds around bagged milk, here it is. This is how we drink our milk. And I mean, it used to be like we only had bagged milk, but we also have jugs and cartons and things like that. But this is our local, this is Kawartha Dairy. So it comes in bags. It's cheaper to buy it this way, and it's local, Canadian, but very local, like it's in Bob Cajun. 3 teaspoons of baking powder, a pinch of salt, told you sugar, flour, butter, that's it. So basically you throw in your flour and your sugar and your salt and your baking powder, whisk it together to kind of like combine it. Then you cut in the pastry, or cut in the butter with a pastry blender. This is my grandmother's that I got. And then you add the milk and kind of just stir it. You don't want to over stir it, you just stir it basically until it's just combined, and then I'll show you. I just use these reusable silicone baking cups that I got at IKEA. I actually really love them. And I find, I used to just like oil the pan and cook them that way, but I find these, if you keep them and store them in these, they actually stay, like keeps the moisture in them. So that's good. Good. Might need a little salt, but usually I salt at the end. Pretty good. Pretty good. Another thing that I thought of that I did differently this morning is I decided to not have coffee on an empty stomach, and I don't find like it was super hard or anything like that, so I'd rather just have an afternoon coffee. And another thing that I'm trying to do is delete my Facebook. I don't know why. It's almost like when something, like you have a bruise and you keep touching it to make sure that it still hurts. That's kind of what like Facebook and Instagram. I found like this back way to get into Facebook. I delete the app, but I figured out a way to get into it, and it's not super hard or anything. And I don't know why, but I just kept going in there, and it was like I said, like touching a bruise or something to see if it still hurts. With all the politics and stuff, it was making me rage, and it was making me angry, and it was making me scared, and it was making me sad, and it was just too much. There is being educated and aware of what's going on, and then there's just total doom scrolling, and it was taking a definite toll on me. So today is the first day that I've just stepped away from all social media, decided to work on the vlog, decided to cook and clean, do all the things, and get outside for a walk, and I just feel so much better. Looking at the news takes such a toll on me. But anyway, just a little thing I thought I'd share that I'm trying to do. No coffee on an empty stomach, and no social media on an empty stomach or otherwise, honestly.
Think about me one more time before you go. Someday you'll know say. I've been feeling this way for far too long.